Welcome. Testing. All right, we here. We're recording. Well. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Getting everything up and running in the SplashCast. Um, hope everybody's good. Hope everybody feels well. Um, I don't know why it won't change the name, but uh, what's good, man? I am here. Y'all know what it is. One half of the dynamic duo that is the Splashcast. You are here on Dive Team Media Network to check us out. As you can see, I am a disappointed, sad Falcons fan. We are currently on the couch as of 4:05 today. It is now 6:20. As I post all of these things, we see that the Falcons not only will not make it to the playoffs, we actually lost to the Carolina Panthers, y'all. We lost to the 4-12 Carolina Panthers, 44-38, in what was an unexpected shootout between second year and I really want to call Bryce Young a rookie. Second year quarterback Bryce Young and rookie quarterback Michael Penix Jr. Falcons were 9-8 coming. 8-8 coming in. Needed to get a win. Still in the playoff hunt. All right, we're good. Still in the playoff hunt, but but still on the outside looking in. So we needed Tampa Bay to lose. Of course, we needed Tampa Bay to lose, and then we also needed to beat Carolina. In a back and forth game, some unfortunate luck for Michael Penix Jr. We end up losing 44-38. So we'll get into the game. We'll talk about the game. Kind of what we saw, offense, defense, special teams, or offense, defense, special teams, and coaching. We'll do the same thing that we did last week. We'll give them a grade, and then we'll talk about some of the highlights of today's game, and then we'll also get into the struggles of today's game and what we can look for in the offseason. So let's get started, man. We had to take care of business today. We had to win and beat the Panthers and then leave everything else up to the football gods. We weren't really counting on New Orleans. New Orleans wasn't playing anybody. Not like they had a lot of people to play. But they weren't playing everyone. Spencer Rattler was the starter. And they've been on a downward spiral other than playing us, of course. They've been on a downward spiral all season. Meanwhile, and they play Tampa Bay, who all intents and purposes looks like a strong team. So I didn't have much expectation coming into the game. I told myself I was not going to be let down today, right? There's no way if we lose, whatever, Tampa Bay is going to win. If Tampa Bay wins, we can't get in anyway. I had already prepared for it. Lo and behold, Sade. Lo and behold, the Falcons still found a way. The Falcons still found a way to disappoint your boy. Carolina comes in hot, red hot. One of the better teams ever since they really played Kansas City, where they lost by that walk-off field goal or block field goal. I can't remember how many walk-off ways Kansas City has won. But once they played Kansas City and they put Bryce Young back into the lineup, they seemed really, really, really potent. And they seem like they're building something for next year. And I think they have a nice setup for next year. So they came in hot, and we knew that Bryce Young had all the confidence in the world. We knew our defense was struggling putting a whole game together. And basically everything that happened. We struggled to play a full game, especially on defense. We struggled to stop the pass. We struggled to stop the run. And the thing is, when you play a division rival, which the NFL got it right. When you play a division rival at the end of the season, that brings out really good football, even if one division rival is already out of the playoff. Because as you can see, Carolina has been playing spoiler for the last 3 weeks. They beat Seattle last week, right, and told them to send their butt home. And then you got Jadeveon Clowney doing the same thing today, saying the same thing, telling see y'all in Cabo, right? So for them, that's a successful season. 5-12. For them, 5-12, that's a successful season. Finding your quarterback, that's a successful season. Getting some pieces under contract for them, for Carolina, that was a successful season. Miles Sanders, you found your second back. You may have actually found your third back, and you could get Miles Sanders go. He played really well, 17 carries for 66 yards. Bryce Young had a hell of a game against us, y'all. 25 of 34, 251 yards, 3 touchdowns. Also, 5 carries, 24 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Unacceptable. But let's get back to it. So let's break down the positives first. And really, when I say positive, the only positive was the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons offense, I'll say. Michael Penix Jr., 21 of 38, 312 yards. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Again, I don't credit that interception to him. Ray McCloud with the drop, popped the ball up in the air on a catchable pass. Is low, but it was catchable, and it gets intercepted. So I don't put that on him, but 312 yards. Bijan Robinson, 28 carries, 170 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mike Algier, 9 carries, 52 yards. No touchdowns. He probably could have gotten one if we ran him a little bit more, but I can't get mad at it. 9 carries, 52 yards, really in 1 quarter, is a hell of a game. Michael Penix, 1 carry, 5 yards. And that 1 carry, if I'm not mistaken, we're scrolling down, so y'all give me a chance. That 1 carry was to tie the game up, if I'm not mistaken. And as you can see, this is what we missed with Kirk Cousins. Being able to scramble around, got his first rushing touchdown, got his first passing touchdown last week, and got 2 more. Got his first passing touchdown, his second and third passing touchdown this week too. But this is what we were missing with Kirk Cousins. Hindsight is 2020. It's easy to play Monday morning quarterback or end of the season GM and head coach, right? Michael Penix looked like he was far and away the better quarterback the whole time. If he was performing like he performed today, now I will say the Panthers aren't good on defense. They're not. They were missing Jimmy Horn. They're missing other players, but they are not good. But at the same time, Michael Penix Jr. was making passes over the zone to Drake London. He and Drake London have an absolutely wonderful connection. You can tell that he feels comfortable going to Drake London. Drake London, 10 catches, 187 yards, 2 touchdowns. He probably could have had 11 or 12 if it wasn't for the drops. See, the thing is, Michael Penix Jr. went 21 to 38 for 312 yards, and he really probably was 25 of 38. 25 of 38 is really, really good. Ray McLeod, 4 catches, 66 yards. He just had that one mistake that put us, one of 2 mistakes that put us behind in a back and forth game, where it's really about you can't flinch as the offense when both offenses are humming and the defenses can't really do anything about it. And we flinched. Cardero Hodge making himself really indispensable here. I would love to see him as the 4th wide receiver. I think we have him as the 4th. Blocking, he was great. Special teams, he's great always. And then, of course, Kyle Pitts-Bijan. But let's get back to Michael Penix, and let's talk about this connection with Drake London. Not only does he have the Drake London, this is why this picture right here for those that are watching, this right here is why you are confident in Drake London. He makes all the uncontested catches. Like, he makes them all. This one right here against that, really, when we had our backs against the wall, we had to come. We were trying to take control of the game. This was at the end of the second quarter when we got the ball and we threw a back shoulder fade and they ruled it out of bounds. So then we go right back the next play and Penix puts it on a dime. One thing Penix has is ball placement pause. He can. It's almost like it's. Y'all bear with me. It's not Aaron Rodgers-esque, but you can't hand the ball off better than what he's throwing right now. What we saw in this game. Again. I know that this is the Carolina Panthers defense. He shined against the Carolina Panthers defense, and he shined against the Giants defense, both of which aren't that great. I understand that. But this was also his 3rd start. And he didn't play bad against Washington either, right? So for him not playing bad against Washington, him not playing bad against the Giants, I think, and him not playing bad against Carolina, I think that's something to build on. Unfortunately, again, you have to look at what was it like if he had played more of the season. Because, of course, hindsight is 2020. Kirk wasn't it. And we've seen Penix now. He just has the arm strength that Kirk didn't have. So, for example, on this touchdown to Drake, down 31-24, this is 4th and 10. 4th and 20. I'm sorry. This was 4th and 20. And it's the same players against Washington to score and tie the game. 4th and 20. And we'd score a touchdown to Drake London because he fits it in because of just pure arm strength. They're gonna show this. They're gonna go back, but he zips it in there. It's the same pass he did to Kyle Pitts. Same thing. Penix is and Drake London are fantastic together. Drake London is probably going to be good with any quarterback, but Penix looks like to be his guy. I will say, I do want Penix. Well, I'll get to what we can improve. Let's talk about the defense now. I touched on the defense briefly. We got absolutely. Ooh, that's Norwood. We got absolutely embarrassed on defense. Absolutely embarrassed. Dang, this froze. Well, we got absolutely embarrassed on defense. Allowing 44 points to the Carolina Panthers with no Chuba Hubbard. I don't know if you guys can name right now, those in the chat, if you're watching, please name the Carolina Panthers starting wide receivers. Just name any of them. Name 1, 2, 3. It don't matter. Name any of the Carolina Panthers starting wide receivers. We can't. We don't know them. Adam Thielen, who was good a long time ago, but now he's old. I think he played when Randy Moss was playing. It's a long time. Adam Thielen, Jatavion Sanders, who I believe is the tight end out of Texas, a tight end, and then Jalen Coker. We don't know who Felipe Franks, Xavier Legette. You don't know who any of these people are. You know Xavier Legette because he eats raccoon. That's about it. You don't know Jatavion Sanders unless you really watch Texas football. Not saying he's not a good player, not saying that most football people don't know him, but he's not a household name, right? Jalen Coker, I think he's undrafted. No, David Moore, Jalen Coker. We don't know who, and Bryce Young just went down the field with these dudes left and right, up and down. Nothing to do. Couldn't do anything, couldn't stop him, couldn't do anything. Our run defense wasn't bad. It just wasn't good. For some reason, we can't stop Miles Sanders. Even though he only had 66 yards and Blackshear had 47, together they did damage. The Carolina Panthers exploited our deficiencies. Bad D. Alford, we rocked with you as the corner for a while. You got cooked. You got cooked last week. You got cooked this week. They have identified you as the weakest link. Fair or foul, we've seen it now for 2 weeks. Caden Ellis, good. Nate Landeman is going to be our special teams and short yardage linebacker. Really good at 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, stopping the run, quarterback dive. He's one of those guys coming downhill. Nate Landeman cannot guard or be in space at all. Can't do it. Bryce Young just tiptoeing around him just like Jaden Daniels did. It was a mirror game. They got the ball in overtime, went right down the field and scored. Justin Simmons. You are like feast or famine. You know, y'all don't get mad at me for saying this, but you know how like you see a fine woman and she's always single and no guy she can never find the right person and this, that, and the third, and after a while it's like, what's wrong with you? Like if everybody is something wrong with everybody else, then it might be something wrong with you. And then when you get with her and you figure out, oh, this is why, nobody was dating her. It's the same thing with Justin Simmons. We couldn't figure out why Justin Simmons wasn't being signed all offseason. Like nobody was they were going after him, but he never could agree with it. They wanted veterans minimum and all of those things. Now that he's on our team, I understand why. Justin Simmons wasn't bad. What's up, Vanessa? Justin Simmons wasn't bad this year, but boy, when he makes some coverage busts and cover mistakes and he jumps routes, him and Jesse Bates, but more so him, or misses a tackle as the strong safety, we're screwed. He makes less mistakes, but he still makes mistakes. He made less mistakes than Richie Grant, but he still made mistakes. Our linebackers and our strong safety probably need some type of upgrade. Jimmy Lake, you got to figure out how to make adjustments. I think this was his first year as a full-time defensive coordinator in the NFL. Cool. You got to figure out what you're going to do and how to make adjustments in the second half. you as well, Zach Taylor. So I guess we're talking about the coaches. I'm kind of all over the place, but y'all know what I'm talking about. We had 0 points in the third quarter. The Panthers scored 14. Fourth quarter, we scored 14. The Panthers scored 7. Overtime, we never saw the ball again. In the second half, for the last 2 weeks, now Jaden Daniels and Bryce Young, Carolina Panthers, Washington Commanders, they just held the ball from us the whole third and fourth quarter. And our offense did wonderful things in the fourth quarter. I think we scored 2 touchdowns again to come back and win the game, come back and tie the game to get to overtime. But we've got to figure out what to do on defense to get off the field. I don't blame Jimmy Lake totally, because part of that is the way our roster is made up. Our roster is sad when it comes to linebackers. We are slow. I like Caden Ellis. As you know, I always said put him on the field to run around. But he is more of a seek and destroy type guy. So you want Caden Ellis to just be the defensive end, almost the same way that you played Arnold Ebiketie. You want to put him at defensive end, and either he's rushing the passer or he's spying the quarterback. That's what you want Caden Ellis to do. You don't want really Caden Ellis to be an off-the-ball linebacker or a strong side. I'm sorry, be a strong side linebacker. You want him rushing the passer. You don't want him, with responsibilities in the middle of the field. The thing is, you can't put Nate Landman in there. If you put Nate Landman in there, Nate Landman is God. He is so slow. Nate Landman is so slow. And we don't have anybody else. I love D'Angelo Malone. He was cool. He's probably got to get a little bit more playing time next year if we bring him back. But one thing I don't understand some of the calls that Jimmy Lake was making on defense. Jimmy Lake had, at one point, he had Matthew Judon in the slot. Guarding Matthew Judon, defensive end, was in the slot. And they did it 3 plays in a row. Let me tell y'all why I had an issue with that. It doesn't make sense to me to put Matthew Judon, who is a stand-up defensive end at 6'4", 6'3", 270 pounds, coming off an Achilles injury, in the slot. No matter what you're doing, if you have him going to the flat, if you have him in zone, if you're gonna blitz him, putting him in the slot tells you that we're gonna do something. It tells you there's just nothing else to do. He's either going to play zone because he can't play one-on-one against a receiver because you're in the slot. He's a defensive end, D lineman, or he's gonna blitz. Either way, we know that they're either in zone or they're going to blitz. It's not hard. They ate us up every time they did that. I think they scored a touchdown on that. Basically just ran right past Judon. Miles Sanders basically ran right past Judon and scored. Because Judon was in the slot, and then Justin Simmons didn't get over in time. Aside from personnel, that scheme is awful. That was awful scheme. Running cover 2 the whole game. Getting killed. They just picked on D. Alford and Justin Simmons the entire game. The entire game. Clark Phillips, cool. I wouldn't mind seeing Clark Phillips as our nickelback. But we got to figure out, we can't keep leaving the middle of the field wide open. And I keep saying now, whatever, season's over with. But we left the middle of the field wide open. Bryce Young threw the ball and turned around and didn't look. Pulled a Steph Curry or / Lamar Jackson. It was frustrating. So I'm going to give the offense a B. Just because we didn't score any touchdowns. We didn't score any points in the third quarter. But we scored when we had to. And the reason I'm giving them a B instead of an A is because of the turnover. Didn't really allow a lot of sacks. Didn't have a lot of problems. Now, I will say a lot of that is Michael Penix can move around. Thank you, Lord, Michael Penix can move around. Because Kirk Cousins, we would have lost by 3 touchdowns. But you can't turn the ball over and expect to win. And we keep turning the ball over. Defense. I already told y'all D. The D is for defense. Maybe F. I mean, did we stop them? Did we stop them? They scored on 3 straight. We stopped them maybe twice. Yeah. So I give them a D. The defense was awful. D for defense. The defense was absolutely terrible, y'all. It was absolutely terrible. 44 points to the Panthers makes no sense. I don't care who you are. I'm back on it. I'm back here. We don't know who their receivers are. Adam Thielen is their number 1 receiver. Adam Thielen. Coaching. We right back here. I don't know. What would y'all do in the chat? Y'all here watching, y'all here listening, or y'all that are watching now, watching the replay of this. What would you do if you were the GM and you were not even the GM, if you were the president of Rich McKay, president of basketball operations? Would you fire Terry Fontenot? Would you fire, if you're Terry Fontenot, would you fire Raheem Morris? If you're Raheem Morris, do you fire your coordinators? I don't know. But I don't know if you can come back next season and expect to have the same coaching staff with different results unless you have a hell of a draft. The thing is, we can't have a hell of a draft because we're missing, I just did a mock draft. I think we're missing 3 picks because of the tampering and trading stuff away. If I'm Rich McKay, I'm not firing Terry Fontenot because Michael Penix saved your job. Michael Penix saved your job, Terry Fontenot. You probably are going to be able to come back next year and be able to coach. Be able to be the general manager and have a draft and try to fix this because Michael Penix Jr. looks to be a really good quarterback, like really good. That also probably saves Zach Taylor and Raheem Morris because you don't want to destroy your rookie quarterback who looks to be really good by constantly changing coaches and changing offensive coordinators and changing play. You don't want to do that because now you're having to learn a new system every year. You're basically, learning to walk every year. You don't want to do that. So I think Raheem Morris, Terry Fontenot, and Zach Taylor are safe for 2025. Now, 2026, I don't know. Jimmy Lake may be on the chopping block, y'all. The defense has gotten worse through the entire year. Not because of injuries, just because of philosophy. We have gotten worse and worse and worse. We have made moves that have not worked. Everything that we did not do on defense comes back to haunt us. In the offseason, Terry, we didn't go get a cornerback too. We got Mike Hughes. Cool. Not really the cornerback too that we were all thinking about. We knew A.J. Terrell was good, but we didn't know he was going to take the next step. Well, he definitely took the next step. So you went and got Mike Hughes. You went with D. Alford and Clark Phillips. Cool. But you didn't really play Clark Phillips to the end of the season. So we didn't address set cornerback number 2. We rolled out there with Troy Anderson, Caden Ellis, Nate Landeman, and J.D. Bertrand at linebacker. J.D. Bertrand impressed me the last 2 or 3 games. The way that he's like mini Caden Ellis, really. I do not like Nate Landeman as a starter, and Troy Anderson just can't seem to stay healthy. He was actually pretty good. I wouldn't mind him at one linebacker position. But you can't keep putting Caden Ellis out there as the main linebacker. You need to just go let him be a rush in and let him run around. You have got to go get an athletic linebacker. You need to go get one that can spy a quarterback and then seek and destroy. And you need one that can at least be competent in pass coverage. And let me tell you who that person is. We're not going into the draft. We're going to do this, but if I'm the Falcons, I'm looking at Jalen Walker as the linebacker for the Falcons in the first round. He's athletic. He's fast. He's 240 pounds. He can rush off the end. He can at least be in space. He's competent in space. He's got a high motor. He can blitz. He can spy. Jalen Walker probably, or Alabama's linebacker who came in second in the Buckets Award. Those are our two options. You need to go get that. And you need to get a cornerback number 2. And you need to move Clark Phillips. We need to bump everybody down in the secondary. Also, if you have time, you may want to go look at strong safety. There's a couple. There's a buddy from South Carolina. I would look at him. We'll get into it more in the offseason. I'll do some more videos. Of course, you know I will. But you got to look at defensive end. You got to look at linebacker. And you got to look at strong safety and cornerback. This whole draft should be defense. Our offseason moves should be defense. If you are going to make an offseason move on offense, I would bring in another wide receiver. I love Ray. I would probably put Ray as my return man again and my 4th receiver and kind of sub him out with Kyle Pitts type thing. But I would go get a receiver number 2. And I would put Mooney in the slot. That way, Darnell Mooney can run whatever. When you put Darnell Mooney in the slot, all of a sudden he can run whatever route he wants to. Corner route from the slot. He could go to the outside. You could motion somebody back in. Our offense is all about motion anyway. So you could definitely keep him running the routes that he likes. And, of course, he fell off at the end of the year, and I don't think he even played this year today because he hadn't caught passes from Michael Penix, and it's hard for a second-string quarterback to be able to go through your reads with the first-string offense. What's up, MacTown? I agree, man. We need to draft linebacker, DB, and safety and edge. It's all defense. We just got to fill in the pieces. We have the base. Caden Ellis can go run around. I told y'all. We have the base on defense. We just need to go get a cornerback, a safety. We need 1, 1, 1, and 1. That's what we need. On offense, though, back to it, I like Ray. I would put him at 4 and let him return punts. Kind of like, I wouldn't make him a gimmick player, but, I wouldn't make him 3. He's had a couple drops, and I think Darnell Mooney is better in the slot. If you put Darnell Mooney in the slot, all of a sudden, you're almost uncoverable. Bijan is our back. If I'm Tyler Algier, I probably leave. There's no need. If you're only going to run me 5 to 7 times a game, I could go make a lot more money or have the opportunity to make a lot more money and start somewhere else. Dallas would take him today. There's a lot of teams that would take him today at running back. If you're going to keep him, if you're going to keep Algier, you have to use him more. Maybe you put Bijan in the slot a couple times and put Algier out there at running back and let Bijan just kind of do his thing. You could do something like that. That way you don't really have to get rid of Ray and you could still run your offense and not have to introduce a new piece and then move Mooney out of the slot and put him back in as a wide receiver. But I would prefer if we went and got one. But you got to play Algier more. I mean, he's averaging like 8 yards a carry. Averaging like 8 yards a carry is just absolutely insane. Kyle Pitts. I think, and we'll discuss all of this more on the SplashCast tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern time, as you can see at the bottom of the screen. I do agree that you keep Kyle Pitts. I do. I don't think this is his 5th year. If they declined the 5th year option, they were foolish. I probably would pick it up if you can. If it's too late. Here's why. Michael Penix is a better quarterback. Michael Penix is probably the best quarterback Kyle Pitts has had since Matt Ryan. Kyle Pitts will also be in a contract year, which means he will play a lot harder than he has the last 3 years, unless he quits. either way, you know what to do without it costing you any extra money. I personally, if streets were paved with gold, I would like Kyle Pitts to then be turned into a good tight end and then turn into a security blanket, kind of like Kelsey with Patrick Mahomes. I would love for him to do that if he could find his joy in football again. If he can't, then you got to let him go. And maybe you get him to Kansas City because they want him, and they're probably the ones that will give you the highest pick for him. You get the highest pick you can. But I would bring him back next year. So I say all of that to say I'm very, very disappointed that we lost. I'm very, very disappointed that we didn't make the playoffs, but I've come kind of pieced to that once we lost to Washington. Raheem Morris will have to do a better job at time management, clock management. We had kind of a clock management issue today, but again, Michael Penix bailed him out. But you kind of had a clock management issue today. So, that's all I got, folks. It's been 30 minutes. Falcons lose. Y'all make sure y'all tune into the SplashCast on tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'll talk about all of the games on Wild Card Weekend, well, the end of the season, and we'll also talk about HBCU news around the culture, college football, as well as basketball. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Always remember, like, follow, and subscribe. You see the banner at the bottom. If you've come to the SplashCast, you come to our profile, we appreciate you. We love to talk about all types of sports. I love to hop on here and have conversations with you guys. I'm doing it more and more, getting better and better at it. Hopefully this year, 2025, we'll be adding in a caller feature so you guys could call in and kind of voice your opinions. And after that, sky's the limit. So now it is officially for me, because the Georgia Bulldogs lost and the Falcons are eliminated. It is officially basketball season for your boy. Let's go Hawks. Let's go Hawks. And then it'll be baseball season, and then we can start this entire misery all over again next year. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Peace. Are we done?